Hello, we are here today at a storage unit complex right back there that I used to run. Okay, so I want to talk today about another investment kind of opportunity or idea and just kind of tell you some personal experience that I have. Okay, so the first thing that's to note about this property is this fence right here. This fence was not here when I was running it. Those keypads were not there. Okay, so this used to be a Class C facility. Okay, and I kind of want to tell you what the new owners have done to it, and I also want to talk you through kind of my arrangement when I was here and give you guys an idea that I felt like is awesome if you could ever find it. Okay, so this property, well, first of all, in storage units, there's 4 classes of property. There's A, B, C, and D. Okay, you can look this up. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time talking about it today. Class A properties are really nice. They're all paved. They're all fenced. They're really, really expensive. You usually find them in big cities, kind of like a public storage or a use storage, something with a big name. Okay, when I was running this, none of this was here. So this was another business that actually sold fireworks, and the guy that owned this entire property is a firework dealer. Okay, he just inherited these storage units when he bought the property. And honestly, the storage units for him were something that he never cared about or worked. So that's where I came in. I went up to a city that's about 40 minutes away from me, and I looked at a set of storage units. And on my way back, I noticed that this property it looked vacant. So the doors were up. I'm going to walk over here and show you what I'm talking about. The doors were up, and it just looked like it hadn't been occupied for a long time. So here's a good understanding of the facility. Okay, so there's 3 buildings here, 1, 2, 3. They're all pretty nice. They're all somewhat about the same size. 2 of them are actually the exact same size. One of them's a little bit smaller. The one closest to me is a little bit shorter. But you can see that fence. Take note, that fence stops right here. Okay, and the facility is back here, and then there's also some more doors that are over here in this building. Like I said, this building was not storage when I was running it. All these were still here, and that's what I ran. Okay, there was no fence around this. Okay, so the new owners took this from what I would say is a Class C/D property. No paved driveways, no fence. It was pretty run down. The doors were pretty rough. The walls, there were some holes in them. There were some minor things that we fixed over the years on the roof. But what I would say is this used to be a Class C/D facility, and I would say now they took it more to like a low Class B. You know, if you could give it an actual letter grade, maybe a B-, C+, maybe even a B. They've done a lot to this place. They've fixed it up a lot. They've added the fence. They've added the gate so that it's secure. Basically, what I would say here on this property, storage units are fun to run. You run into a lot of cool people. They are extremely lucrative if you can buy it right. So that's the hard part. And what I'll tell you, and the story that I kind of wanted to talk about today, is we obtained the ability to manage this facility only. Okay, I did not ever own this facility. We just ran it for the guy that owned it. So, and this is a great opportunity for you guys. So what I did was I found out who owned this. I looked on our local GIS system, and I tried to reach out to the guy, tried to call the guy, Didn't have any luck with either one of those. Couldn't find a number. So I sent him a letter. Okay. And about 3 months later, I got a letter back from this guy's attorney asking, well, what'd you have in mind? And my letter basically said something to the effect of, hey, I see you have a storage unit facility over here. It looks like it's run down and not being utilized. Can I manage it for you? Can I run this for you? And he got back to me and, like I said, asked like, well, what's this about? And I said, well, you know, here's the deal. I'd like to run a facility. I'm local. I'm an owner. I'm trustworthy. I just have some ideas as to how I could run this and make you some income and make me some income at the same time. So we ended up running this facility for, gosh, it was probably about 10 years. We had 3 5-year renewable leases. No, actually 2 renewable leases. So we had a total of 15 years to run this place. We were giving him 25% of the gross rents. We were covering all the expenses other than the taxes. And this just worked out beautifully. We gave him checks every quarter. We would keep a spreadsheet. We ran all this stuff, very organized, very nice. We gave him every dollar he was owed. I mean, you guys, I don't know if this opportunity would ever come available for anyone else, but this was nothing out of our pocket. We ran this thing for 10 years. We got a buyout at the end of the 10 years because somebody bought it and they wanted to take it over and run it on their own. We had very little capital infrastructure required. So we were required for maintenance. So we would patch the walls, we would fix the roof, we would fix there's just tons of things. Door locks, door latches, the doors going up and down. I mean, there was a lot of maintenance. This property it used to be pretty run down and pretty kind of rough. Now the new guys have done a lot to upgrade it and make it nice. But I would tell you that if you can ever find an opportunity that you see a property, whether it's an investment property like storage units or a mobile home park or anything that you think is being run poorly, and you see a way to enhance the returns either for yourself or for the owner, why not ask, right? I mean, all I did was send a letter and I got to manage this property for 10 years. I learned a ton about managing rentals and how to deal with people and leases and all the stuff that goes into it. Honestly, it was a lot of fun. We had 101 units. I think it was 101, about 119 doors. Some of them went all the way through. There were 10 by 10s, 10 by 15, 10 by 20, and 10 by 30. I think there was one 20 by 30. And when we ran it, the price of storage was not that great for the owner. For us, it was really reasonable for the consumer. So, you know, we were able to put people in here. Now, we had some theft issues. So that's why they put up this fence all over this place, right? So we had theft issues. We probably had 10 times over the course of our managing tenure, maybe more than that we got calls about issues. We had the cops here all the time. I mean, it was what it was. We tried our best. We didn't want to put up, you know, that fence probably cost $10,000, $15,000. We didn't want to put up $10,000, $15,000 of our own money because we didn't own this place, but we should have probably, looking back. But either way, it was a great learning experience. It was a great opportunity for you guys. I mean, if you can find something where you can run something without having money out of your pocket, that's a great opportunity. If you want to run a set of storage units, it's not that hard. Honestly, we did it with no experience, no real knowledge. It just takes a little, honestly, decent customer service skills, so decent people skills and communication skills. And you really should be able to run a facility like this. You got to keep good records. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing. Now with AI, I mean, it could do all the legal documents, all the lease. We had an attorney write up all of our stuff. So we spent a little bit of time and money on things. But, man, I tell you what, I mean, it's a fun business. You get to meet a lot of people. The people are cool. Like most of the people that rent storage, they're not going to be like your super high-end people. So you're not going to be dealing with like the mega wealthy. But the flip side, you're dealing with people who care, who have a need, and you're meeting their need. It's kind of fun. I don't know. Overall, it was a very positive experience. If you haven't ran something like this, I would suggest maybe trying it, or maybe if it interests you. There's a lot of good resources out online right now for storage unit investing. Scott Myers is one that I remember from back in the day that I would read and study and follow. It for me is not something that I want to pursue now, but if the opportunity ever arose again, I wouldn't turn it down. The biggest thing that I run into in this area, I've looked at some after this to try to buy. They're not priced all that well for an investor, honestly. The rents currently are not quite enough to make it cash flow if you care about your rate of return. Now, when these people bought this facility, they knew they were going to spend some money on this place and make it, to convert it from a class, C to a class B. I mean, if you're going to do that and you're really banking on future rent increases, it's not a bad idea. If I'm going to buy something, I want it to cash flow immediately and not in 5 to 10 years. So it's a little bit different for me, but I can totally understand why these people bought this. I mean, it's going to end up being a good deal for them. They've already made a lot of upgrades. It looks really nice. Anyways, another thing I did when I moved in here, they were having some issues with the county. You can't see it, but right just down the road here, we put up a billboard or a sign. There was a couple of things that the owner of this was having trouble with. So I was able to fix those with the county and get them off his back. So again, if there are nuanced things that you can help an owner with, you got to pitch it right. So right when I reached out to the owner and he said, "Oh, that thing's a piece of crap. I hate it. I can't stand it." Just by asking a couple questions like, "Well, what do you mean? What's going on?" And then he brought up he was having tons of problem with the county and with like laws and regulations. And we said, well, it was me and another guy that was doing this. We said, well, we can take care of those. We can help make all those go away. Like we'll totally clean this up, get it all, fine and dandy, and get the county off your back. And, we did that within the first couple months. Anyways, all that I'd say is there are opportunities that exist in the marketplace. You just got to ask, and you just got to be willing to go look around and be creative with your thinking. This was a fun project for us, and we would encourage you, if you're into looking at income-oriented opportunities, something like this could be fun, and it could be a good learning experience, and, I don't know, might be something worth pursuing. Anyways, have a good one. Talk to you later. Have a positive attitude of gratitude. See ya.